And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Wednesday morning's flying weather showing IFR here over the far western Bering Sea with another system pushing in only to about Chimney-Attu. Marginal VFR for the remainder of the Bering Sea and the Aleutians here. More IFR over the southeast Bering, down across the Alaska Peninsula, and then kind of up and around Kodiak Island. Another zone of IFR, western Prince William Sound, all the way over to the eastern Panhandle. And then IFR continuing here for the eastern Arctic coast, on down along the north slope into the Brooks Range. For the afternoon, still looking at IFR here into the central Brooks Range on out to the Arctic coast. Good VFR in the interior. Cook Inlet, Susitna Valley, VFR, marginal VFR into areas of the Copper River Basin, and Matanuska Valley, IFR for the Prince William Sound area, North Gulf Coast, northern Panhandle, areas of VFR breaking out over the central and southern southeast coast, and IFR here across the Alaska Peninsula, southeastern Bering Sea, and a bigger area of IFR here pushing in now toward Adak, northern Bering Sea up there, St. Lawrence Island, Seward Peninsula, into the Chukchi Sea, VFR. And then that changes with IFR flowing into that area for Thursday morning. Stays IFR for the central eastern Arctic coast, north slope. IFR band here over the northern and eastern Bering Sea, but staying west of Nunivak Island, still down into the Alaska Peninsula. And then that next front pushing IFR eastward all the way up to Nikolsky by Thursday morning. And North Gulf Coast, still some IFR that extends over into Prince William Sound, and also for the northern Panhandle of marginal VFR for the remainder of the southeast coast. The interior staying pretty good here with some marginal VFR along the western Alaska Range and some IFR just up to southeastern Kodiak Island. Then for the afternoon, that area of IFR is gone, leaving marginal VFR behind for the island there up into Kamishak Bay. IFR, persistent IFR here for Prince William Sound and the North Gulf Coast, and then off the or along the north coast of the Panhandle. Pretty good VFR for the afternoon. Inside waters, interior still a lot of VFR here from the Cook Inlet, Susitna Valley areas, Kuskokwim Valley, all the way up until you get to the Brooks Range. And then IFR for the North Slope and Arctic coast. Some IFR here, St. Lawrence Island down to Makoriak, and IFR with that front here and system out over the Bering Sea down into the eastern Aleutians and western Alaska Peninsula. Moving on to passes, Anatuvik and Adigan. IFR at times throughout the day again for Wednesday, and Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR, marginal for rainy, marginal at times for windy, going VFR for Isabel, Mintasta, and also for Tanita back to marginal VFR. Portage, IFR, and Chilkoot and White, IFR. Freezing levels here anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 feet here over the central interior, 6,000 feet over toward the border there. Otherwise at about 2,000 feet or so here for the remainder of the area, including the southeast coast. Out over the southern Bering Sea, we've got warmer air as you head south, of course, here up to about 6,000 to 8,000 feet along the Aleutians. And for the icing, with that system out here pushing eastward, we've got some areas of considerable moderate rime icing associated with that front as it pushes into the central Aleutians. And a bigger area here of potentially moderate icing, Kodiak Island, Bristol Bay, all of the southwest interior down across southern Cook Inlet and into at least southern Prince William Sound, and lighter icing possibilities, isolated moderate areas of here for the central interior. And for the jet stream, we're looking at west-southwesterly, 65 knots there, north of the Yukon River area, Kobuk-Koyukuk Valley, south 65 over the southwest interior, and Kodiak Island, northwest 65 along the southeast coast. Main jet here along the Aleutian southern Bering Sea, 110 to 130 knots. And at 9,000 feet, low pressure here near the Alaska Peninsula, winds blowing around that anywhere from 45 to 65 knots or 40 to 65 knots. West 50 for the central Aleutians, southwest 40 or for the western Aleutians, central Aleutians west at 50 knots. Light over the northern Bering Sea. Central Bering as well, pretty light winds. Light over the interior here as well as the southeast coast. 3,000 feet, light winds again for the Panhandle, up over all of interior Alaska, but 55 knot east-southeasterlies here blowing across the Barren Islands into Kamishak Bay, Iliamna Lake area, and then some pretty good northerlies on the backside of this low, up to maybe 50 knots or so, 50 to 60 knots across the Alaska Peninsula, falling back to about 40 knots near Nunivak Island, and 40 to 45 knot winds with that next system out to the west. Turbulence-wise, look for some isolated moderate turbulence for Adak out to about Amchitka or Kiska Island there, but considerable moderate, pretty likely here, northeast Bristol Bay across Iliamna Lake, Kamishak Bay, Barren Islands, Kodiak, as well as the Alaska Peninsula to Unalaska Island. Otherwise, smooth for the most part everywhere else.